Where you going, dude?
Going home, Donnie.
Phone's ringing, dude.
Thank you, Donnie.
In a world infested with semi-mediocre podcasts, only one show can bring you an exceptionally mediocre podcast. It's The Indispensable Thursday Show with Sable and Dave.
Sable Cantus, my nigga.
Yeah, you got it, man. You got it.
The dude abides.
The dude abides.
And that's all we're going to talk about with movies this whole show, because I don't think we have anything else.
Well-
Just a couple quotes and a couple clips.
Well, I think
beginning.
if you were a follower of the 5x5 network, they are doing a 4-hour
Is that
breakdown.
the Denny's new breakfast? Is that the one where you get the bacon, the sausage, the ham, the French toast, and the waffles?
That's it. Nice Jewish guy in charge of that too. Mm-hmm. There's a podcast called Back to Work where they sort of quote this movie, and I've heard people talking about The Big Lebowski forever, but I never really bothered to go see it.
Bad move.
What came out in '98, and I don't know what I was doing in '98, but it probably wasn't going to the movie theaters. But then I saw it on Netflix last week, and it was such a trippy, interesting movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, the dude abides, the tumbleweed. I kind of wanted to like it after listening to some people talk about it, and in the middle of this whole movie, you know, he's going through this pointlessly complex storyline. I hear one of my favorite clips from another podcast, the No Agenda Show I listen to.
Oh, really? It's in
He's
the
like,
movie? What?
The clip from the movie is used in the No Agenda Show all the
okay.
time. I've
Yeah, I
got
think the
new
No Agenda Show was that
information,
one.
man.
Yeah.
Nooch has come to light. And I'm sitting there like, whoa, I've heard that for years. I had no idea where that was from. Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, I like when you finally close the door on one of those old quotes or something you've heard for a long time. And then you the story. Sorry, I'm going to quote Paul Harvey now. And now you know the rest of the story. You know who Paul Harvey is? He's famous for doing these. He would tell a story about a famous person, but he wouldn't say the name of the person until the very end. And now you know the rest of the story. And it was great. A lot of good ones there.
Sounds like good storytelling.
Yeah, he was good at that.
So I just wanted to put that little quote in. Phone's
That's
ringing,
it?
Dave.
We're not going to talk about Big Lebowski anymore?
Well, it's kind of a surprise to you, right?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of controversy about this movie. It wasn't that popular when it came out.
No.
Not many people saw it 3 times like you did in the theater.
Yeah, I saw it the first time and I went, wow, that was awesome. And then I the next week, I'm going to go see it again. So I went back and watched it again and I went, it wasn't as good as I remembered. That's weird. And then a couple weeks later, it's still there. So I went and saw it again. I went, what the hell was I thinking? That was a great movie. So I don't know. I'm very fickle with it, apparently. I don't know why.
Well, I've heard more than one podcast say you need to watch it several times.
Yeah.
Like 4 or 5 times, because they have some repetition. They have some interesting things that come together. But for some reason, this movie has become a cult classic.
Sure. Well, a lot of Coen Brothers movies have. There's Coen Brothers, and you do find when you start digging into their canon of films that a good portion of them do get better upon repeated viewings, because they're smart guys and they love movies, and they do pack their movies with a lot of stuff, a lot of nuance, a lot of layers and things like that. You know, Fargo only gets better with a repeated viewing. Raising Arizona is probably my favorite of theirs, even though it's not heavy like Fargo is, but it's I think way more quotable than Big Lebowski, actually, which is very quotable. But Raising Arizona is hands down, I think, one of the most quotable movies ever.
All right, I haven't seen that in a while. I'll go watch that again.
Well, I'll give you a little taste. Here's a quote from that one. It's a guy's talking about adopting a kid. He said, me and Dot tried to adopt on account of something went wrong with my semen. They said we had to wait 5 years for a healthy white baby. I said, 5 years? What else you got? Said they had 2 Koreans and a Negro born with his heart on the outside. Thank you.
Yeah, wow. It's pretty serious. Mm-hmm. It's probably more quotable because maybe it's safer for work. Most of the Big Lebowski quotes on IMDb are not safe for work. Let me tell you.
It's true. Raising Arizona is actually more safe for work. And save to play on a podcast clip for people driving in their car.
Well, one of the
With the
things,
kids in the car.
as a first-time watcher of the movie who's only seen it once, I really like the repetition. You know, they would introduce a theme, a little thing, a little saying that somebody said, and they would keep saying it throughout the movie.
Like it really ties the room together.
Yeah, like it really ties the room together. It would throughout the movie, you would hear that phrase, or you know, it wasn't that his apartment got broken into once. It kept happening 3 times. His car didn't get jacked up once. It kept happening. He didn't get punched in the face once. It kept happening.
I like the littler things, like when he goes to the grocery store in that robe and those like jelly shoes, and he writes a check for the milk, and it's a bad check for 60 cents or whatever.
67
He doesn't have any money.
check.
He just writes a bad check for the like the half gallon of milk. That's nice.
It was a quart of half and half to make his Caucasians with, also known as a White Russian.
It is a great movie.
I only picked up on that because I was in awe from the opening sequence. I was paying very close attention to the whole drawn out, the whole use of sort of dead space, dead quiet background noise.
Philip Seymour Hoffman plays a good role in that one, and what's her name that just won an Oscar? The redheaded with freckles. What's her name?
She was good.
Yeah,
I like the whole feminist thing.
As soon as I get in here, I suddenly know nothing about movies, and I forget everything I know.
Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, Steve Buscemi, David Huddleston, Julianne
Moore. That's right.
Julianne Moore.
Okay.
Yeah, as Maud. So one of the things that I really liked was his whole approach to life. It was very Tao. And so, of course, as we do now when we watch movies, we go to Wikipedia, and I noticed they have a branch, sort of a religion called Dudism. Are you familiar with Dudism?
No.
Dudism, Dudism.com, is the slowest growing religion in the world. Dudism is an ancient philosophy that preaches non-preachiness, practices as little as possible, and above all, I lost my train of thought there. Anyway, if you'd like to find peace on earth and goodwill, man, we'll help you get started right after a little nap. But here's the rub.
I think the dude is definitely an Obama voter too. I would put my money on it.
No, the dude is smart. He doesn't look like it, but the dude is
I
paying
think
attention.
a lot of smart people voted for Obama. They weren't being smart when they voted for Obama, in my opinion. But I kid.
If you go to dudism.com, saying I kid, that's how you say anything you want. And then you go, I was just joking, right? In the middle of the page, it says, get ordained as a dudist priest. Well, this is a legitimate ordination by a legitimate religion. They give you a real certificate of ordination for free.
What if you did it at one of those clothing optional places where you could be a dudist?
You could be a nudist dudist.
Yeah.
I like it. I think once you get your ordination, you have to go register in your county to be able to officiate weddings.
It would be great to officiate a wedding like that. You get the robe and the jelly shoes. And
That's it. So you can go to dudism.com and get ordained.
So if you haven't seen that one, watch it. But watch Raising Arizona first because it's better.
Is it on Netflix?
Probably. If not, I could give you a copy.
I don't know about that, Dave. You know, we keep everything quite legit here. I did not install
loan you
Popcorn
my
Time
DVD
on
as
my
well.
iPad.
I meant loan you my DVD. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink.
Okay. Now, see, that's fair. I'm going to go to Can I Stream It, and I'm going to look up Raising Arizona.
Is Can I Stream It a legal entity?
Yes. Can I Stream It is a site just to look up to see whether you can stream a movie or not. It is available. Oh, it's not available. Raising Arizona is not available anywhere on anything streaming.
Interesting. Like you could buy it on Amazon, though, can't you?
We're
We're boring the crap out of everybody right now.
Digital.
The show is no longer indispensable. It's quite dispensable at this point.
I might have to borrow your DVD, Dave. But The Big Lebowski is available on Netflix. So, just so you know, I'm gonna have to watch it again. I like that movie.
Big Lebowski takes place in Southern California, right? LA area, I think.
Takes place in LA.
Yeah.
Because he's a writer.
That's right. Of course he is. He is a quintessential writer, especially screenwriter.
He's a screenwriter.
He's probably got a 10-page outline and then a couple pages of an opening scene, and he's had that for like 8 years. That's probably The Big Lebowski.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, it's from one dude to another.
LA. It reminds me of something I'm angry about, Sable. Do you have anything to bring up before I bring up this large topic that's probably going to take the rest of the show?
Oh, I would like to just mention, since we're talking about movies, HBO Now it just came out yesterday, I think. And of course, I signed up right away. The first month's free because Game of Thrones is coming out Sunday.
Oh, I didn't know.
So I'll be in my hotel with my iPad watching Game of Thrones.
We're going to miss the first. I wanted to watch it with you. Oh, well.
Well, you can watch it with me on my second or third viewing of the episode when I get back from the NAB show.
Okay.
I'll be glad to do that. We'll have to record a podcast late next week anyways.
Okay.
So HBO Now is out. It's on your Apple devices, or you can sign up on the web. Get a free month, $15. But one of the things you get to watch is the John Oliver's Last Week Tonight.
Right.
And this last week, I think, was the tops of all the shows he's done. And he's done some great shows. This week, he talked about government surveillance. And as he does, he brings up the ridiculousness of lazy American people and our ignorance. And he says, if only somebody could go and talk to Edward Snowden in Russia about this. And he did. So he flew to Moscow.
That was a good surprise. That was a nice reveal. I like that.
Yeah, so he interviews Snowden, and I like how John Oliver put all of our privacy concerns into something that everyone could understand. Pictures of your penis.
My penis?
Your penis, Dave. The NSA could use X keyscore to look up pictures of your penis and who you sent it to.
I trusted that guy at the donut shop to keep that secret. He said he was going to delete it right away.
So anyways, I got an Apple TV, so I can watch Last Week Tonight now. The whole thing, not just the YouTube clip.
Yeah, that was funny.
And Citizen 4 is on there, which is the Edward Snowden documentary. I highly recommend that to anyone who is interested in this stuff, as I am. And Game of Thrones comes out Sunday, along with the new Silicon Valley. So now, how could you be mad after all that?
I'm mad for totally different reasons at totally different people. Sort of. It's still government people that I'm angry with.
All right.
As usual. I'm always angry with the government people.
Let's hear about it.
Well, it's this California water crisis we're in.
You mean the one that the LA Times redacted and said they made up the headline, completely lied about the headline just to get clicks?
Is that the one
water
we're gonna
crisis?
be out of water in 10 years or whatever?
Yeah.
Is that what it said? Well, anyway, it's probably worse than that. So they did lie. It's probably going to be out of water in 5 years if Jerry Brown has his way. No. But we are obviously in trouble with this water thing. It could be bad. There's already some cities that are out of water. I think Porterville. They're talking to some couple. They've been out of water for like 10 months. They have water trucks that have to come by and like give them like a what's it called? Rationing. Fill up their well, or I don't know how they're doing it, but that would suck. But California's in a drought area. Always has been. It only exists because people piped in water from William Mulholland, right? Yeah, that was the guy.
Yep.
He was the one that rerouted the river to come this way, and this is why we have Los Angeles here, because it was a drought area before.
Well, we do live in a desert.
It's a desert.
Yeah.
Now, problem is we're in a severe drought period, which happens a lot. In geographic terms, it's probably happened dozens of times in California's history before it was called California. But we've got, I think we've quintupled the population in the last 30, 40 years. We're using way more water than we used to use. And fantastically, we've got this doofus at the Captain Jerry Brown at the helm here at exactly the wrong time for something like this to come up.
You're talking about the guy that stopped our expansion of the highways so that we could have more traffic, right? That same guy?
I think so. I'm sure he did that. I didn't look into that myself recently, but he wants to do this big train thing, which is a completely retarded idea. And by the way,
high-speed rail.
Yeah, high-speed rail.
$20 billion in whose pocket? Doesn't help us.
No. Well, it's going to alleviate traffic, Sable.
From Bakersfield to San Jose?
It's a horrible idea. You start reading it, you're like, I'm not going to take that. I'd rather just take a car.
That's all farmland there anyways.
Yeah.
And
which brings up another point. But
the farmers are let me put it this way. Our quintupling of population is not the reason we're running low on water.
That's right. I'm going to say Jerry Brown decides we're going to there's going to be I'm enacting. I can't do a very good impersonation of him, or can I? He talks like this. I'm giving a British, like a not a British, but a Brooklyn accent, which is terrible.
I think to get a good Jerry Brown, you have to take your fist and then goatsy it. And I don't know. I'm just kidding.
He basically is instituting I'm not sure the details of it, but it's going to be like an across the board, wink, wink, 25% reduction, which will probably increase later, but basically leaving alone the giant users of the water, which is the agricultural sector. And why is he doing that? Because unions run California.
Well, don't we need food, Dave?
We do need food, but I'm going to quote Tom Sowell from a little book called Basic Economics that he wrote in 2000, 14 years ago. And this is observations that he'd made over the years. He's like, California grows crops that take way too much water to grow in California. It's stupid. They're growing cotton and I think rice and almonds take up 10% of our water, I think. We don't need these crops here. Truck the almonds in from wherever.
We produce 90% of all the almonds eaten.
Well, they should they should produce them somewhere else because it's sucking up all the water.
There's some good almonds up there. You drive north of Bakersfield a little bit.
I like almonds.
You pull into one of those things on the side of the road. They have all the fresh almonds. And there's a beekeeper in Whittier that I was talking to because he sells his honey. They have these semi-trucks full of bees. They drive it up to have the bees go fly among the almonds.
That's pretty cool. But it doesn't make any sense because they use... Those crops actually use more water than they can even afford, but they're subsidized by the government. See, this is what annoys me. This is exactly the definition of crony capitalism. This is what you have when you start subsidizing. Well, we can't let the agricultural market go away here. It's like, well, you can. You kind of should. It's
not a good marketplace.
It's not a good. Yes, right. You need to
eat local.
Yeah, and the market has just an amazing way of getting everything, allocating resources where they need to go for the most efficient, by the most efficient means.
But how are we going to take all of the extra money from the rich people and give it away fairly?
That's a good question. We're gonna have to go. We're gonna have to draw up some plans on that. So
I think the plans are already in the works. Dave.
Yeah. It just annoys me to no end that this guy's in charge right now. And he was the governor already. He had his chance, but luckily for people like him and Hillary Clinton, you win elections based on guy walks into the booth, he sees Fred Johnson, Jerry Brown. I've heard of him. Check. Clicks. That's all. That's why the Republicans should probably only run like famous actors from now on. Schwarzenegger got elected. That's the only reason he got elected here.
Reagan,
already a famous actor. Yeah. Exactly. Pick a one of the 5 Republican. Kevin Costner. He's not a Democrat. He could be president. He would win. Do you think he would win? He would win.
He would win.
People I've heard that name. Check.
They would see his face. They'd recognize it.
I'm gonna make a phone call to Kevin Costner.
I'm sure you're
voicemail.
within 5 degrees of separation from him, right?
Yeah, probably. Who's not? But I'll just leave a voicemail.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So anyway, we're not going to get out of this anytime soon, unless it starts raining again here, which it could, very well could. I know it probably is going to start raining because they're very concerned and they're blaming global warming. They're going to making all of these predictions now, which I know probably are going to be horribly shattered in a couple of years when we have the dams breaking because of too much rain.
well, so far every prediction, every computer model, every prediction has been wrong, and that's because we are in an ice age currently. We're actually in an ice age. And we're going to get warmer as we leave the ice age. That's just what happens.
Oh, okay. I get you.
Yeah.
And, well, what the hell was I just going to say about, those numbers flashing by are distracting me. The time code.
Oh, don't worry about the time code. I made that big so you didn't have to squint over there.
So I don't hear anything coming out of Jerry Brown except for tighten the belt, make cuts, only the regular folks who only use 20% of the water. You guys that are wasting 80% of our water on crops that we shouldn't be growing here, sky's the limit. Go for it. There's no plan to get more water here. All I hear is cuts. It's almost like, God, I need to lose 40 pounds. What can I cut out of my diet? Let's stop eating those salads.
Right.
Stop eating that tuna. Just keep the ice
Those
cream.
calories,
keep
Dave.
the ice cream and cake coming though.
You got to keep the ice cream calories in. If you're going to keep the ice cream
Yeah.
calories, you got to cut out
So-
on the steak calories.
And even if we wanted to, let's build an aqueduct, or let's build some way to pipe in some more water from places nearby, geographically nearby, not or geologically nearby, not like down the street. But you could do it. You could go spend a little money, like the money they're spending on these stupid high-speed rail that could be spent for maybe an aqueduct from somewhere where it rains a lot. Now, there's virtually, why this high-speed rail is taking so long? Environmental problems with the land that they need to go through. They have to do all these environmental impact studies that the stupid Republicans put in place. Pause there. I lied. It's actually Democrats put that in place. I wanted to get people all riled up. Those stupid Republicans, and then I switch it up on you. Ha! It was Democrats. And then you're like, oh, he got me. No. So even if you wanted to build such a project now, we're looking at, I don't know, a decade before it's approved because of all the red tape, because of the, this certain kind of cricket. Uh-oh, did your dog fart? This certain kind of cricket habitat over here. You can't put the aqueduct through this area. It's like, awesome. Good work, Dennis.
Right?
Good work,
How
Democrats.
lovely.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we can't get our 30-minute ride, high-speed rail from LA to San Francisco. Maybe it wouldn't be 30 minutes. We could really use high-speed rail from LA to San Diego.
Direct.
From LA to San Francisco.
If you went direct there nonstop, I'd be all over that thing.
But it's just not going to work for us. We should just have more
If you're not a
less
retard,
expensive airfare.
Yeah, that's right. If you're not a retard, you stop work on that. You take all the money you're going to spend on that, give it to Elon Musk, and say, "Here you go. Build a tube that
Make
takes
us
me
a
up there."
Hyperloop. Done.
Do you think they'll ever do that? Absolutely no.
No, but Elon Musk will.
I hope so. Yeah.
He'll have enough money, because everyone that has money is going to buy a Tesla. Someday when we have money, Dave, we're gonna buy Teslas. We're gonna charge them up in our
I
solar
already have
powered
all of
houses.
their albums, so I could play them in my Tesla.
Wait, I see what you did there, Dave. That was slick.
And I couldn't really name one Tesla song. I don't have no idea. I was more of a Twisted Sister fan. Tesla. I really don't know any Tesla songs. Pull up a Tesla song.
Wait a second. Wait.
While Table's doing that, I think I've complained enough about Jerry Brown, but we're not in good hands with the current administration, and they got us into this mess, and it's going to get messier unless we just miraculously the heavens open up and start giving us more rain, which I hope happens. That would be nice. And that would be, if it started raining, here's the funny part. Jerry Brown blames global warming for the drought, so he's of course absolved of any problems. And then if it started raining and the dams burst, that's from global warming. So awesome,
Right?
These bizarre weather patterns are obviously from climate change. So they get you coming and going with the climate change.
Well, let's see. You would probably know Psychotic Supper, 1991.
Nope.
No. Freedom Slaves. No. Darn.
Maybe that's why I don't like Tesla. I don't know any of those songs.
Probably have to go back even further into their discography. Anyways, there's a couple Tesla songs that I happen to like. We'll play some guitar later on and do a couple of those.
You got anything else you wanted to talk about?
Oh man, I got a whole long list.
Oh, you better get to it.
Oh yeah. We could go for another 40, 50 minutes, right? We have to be long enough for Elliot's workout. If we're too short, he's not going to be able to finish his workout on the treadmill. So this one's for you, Elliot. Here's a little tip. Now, unfortunately, this tip is going to...
Let's get physical. I want to get physical. I'm just going to keep going on that.
This tip is a little late for tax season, unfortunately. By the
I'm just
time
picturing Elliot with his leg warmers on, this little headband.
By the time our audience gets this, they probably have already done their taxes if they're good tax paying rule followers.
I did.
But in the years past, my accountant has always wanted me to email her PDFs of all my W-2s and my tax form and everything.
So you can do all the work for her, and she just charges you a fee at the end to add up all the.
Well, I have to give her all the stuff.
Yeah.
But the problem is when you email documents, everyone has a copy of your documents. Anyone with a Gmail account, you send an email to them and Google scans your documents. They can read your documents. Every email server between you and the person you send it to stores a copy of that. So it's not a good idea to email your documents with your personal information in there in an unencrypted manner. So she uses Adobe Acrobat Professional, which I've never owned before I got the Creative Cloud, but I've always used an encryption tool. Well, there's a really great encryption tool out now called Minilock, and it works on the Chromebook too.
Oh.
Minilock.io. This is fantastic. You install the Chrome plugin on your Mac. It runs as a regular installed program through Chrome. You give it your email and you give it a long passphrase, like battery horse, stapler, purple, panties or something long and memorable. Then you just drop your folder of files in there.
Great, now I have to change my password. You just told everybody.
It encrypts it, and then you get a little short public key that you can give to anybody. So you could encrypt files, send them to me. I can give you my public key, just like the strongest crypto available, which is PGP, the big expensive pay stuff. It's great. You can send it to a bunch of people. It's free. It's vetted by the top security experts, so it's the tool to use.
Do you have to use it specifically each time you want to do a specific document, or can you just have it do with everything?
So all you do is you say, I want to send you this folder. Let's say we're working on another project. I want to send you this folder, and I want it to be encrypted, right? Because it's going to...
So you have to decide in advance, because a lot of times I just email it, but I'm like, oh, crap, I should have encrypted that.
You, from your desktop, you launch Minilock. You type in your passphrase to open it up. You drop it in there. You tell it who you're going to send it to. And the only person on earth that can unencrypt that file is the person that you tell it.
Okay.
So once it leaves your Chromebook or leaves your computer or leaves your Mac, it's safe in the world. So that was one thing that I came across in the last week or two that I thought was really great, and maybe a little heavy if you don't need to send encrypted documents, but it's easy enough as a plugin. Even your accountant can use it. And believe me, the accountant can't seem to figure out any other encryption
Accountant have
method.
to have the Minilock, or they?
Yeah, you go to Chrome, you install the
you
Minilock
both have to have
plugin.
Minilock? Okay.
Yep, and you have to have the person's public key, which is so short you could text it to someone. If you had to type it, it's typable. It's email. It's public. I put mine on Twitter. You could find mine right there on Twitter. But so I have a much lighter tool. So we like podcasts.
Oh, can you isolate? That's a good drop. I have a much lighter tool.
I have a much lighter tool than
That's
yours,
good.
Dave.
That's a good drop.
Wait a second. Passover, I was playing some of our clips, and my uncle said, "Is he straight? Because he doesn't sound it."
I have a girthy tool. That's a good drop too.
All right. Well, I'll put a time marker in with my mind. I want to tell you about another tool that I came across. I also heard about this in a podcast, and his name is Dave. No, this is something you've probably been using for years, and I just discovered. But it's a tool that lets you, as you run across audio, let's say you want to listen to one episode of one podcast but not subscribe to it, one episode from another podcast but not subscribe to it, some MP3 file you came across. You go to Huffduffer, HUFFDUFFER.com.
Oh, come on. That's the girls that keep the porn guys erect in between takes.
That's why it's so easy to remember.
Yeah.
That's between shots. You go to Huffduffer with your free account. You put in the whatever you want to listen to, and it makes a podcast for you. So you subscribe in your podcast client in your phone to your Huffduffer, and everything you put in there shows up on the phone.
Okay. I don't know.
You look confused. You look confused.
I got lost out.
There's a so I
Looking
have
through my notes. I want to talk about this one here.
Yeah, that's right. Well, trying to multitask.
I wandered.
Okay, let me bring it back. Huffduffer is a service that lets you create your own podcast feed.
Feed, not podcast.
It's your
I
own-
think I got thrown because I was thinking, I don't have to show up here anymore to record the show. Just let it do it. I'll
It's
tell
your
it a couple
own
jokes.
podcast feed. So you subscribe to it on your phone. I mean, other people can subscribe too. But as you find audio clips that you like from around the web, you put them in your
Okay.
Huffduffer.
All right, cool. You do your own aggregating, and it makes a podcast stream, sort of like Stitcher would, but your
It
own
makes
Stitcher.
the stream for you that just shows up on your client.
I like that. I like that a
It's
lot.
very handy,
Now that I understand it.
right?
Now that I was paying attention.
Well, you had something on there, so I guess I'll let you.
Oh, this
Talk for a
is
minute.
going to take a while, but it's probably too closely related to our other topic. But I figured out why leftists don't like free markets. This came to me as I was putting my shoes on the other day.
Well, lefties are the only ones who think in their right mind.
They're left brains? Is that where you're going with that?
Left-handed, right brain, right-handed, left. It's something.
I think that's sort of now been debunked.
It's not true, but
yeah.
I was trying to.
Yeah.
I was trying to get a ha 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 laugh.
Maybe
from
I'll tease it and we'll
Angie.
talk about it more at length. But maybe we can argue about this. But I think you might agree with me. But I leftists don't like. They're way more into the mind control than the right wingers. So look, all government people would love to control everyone's mind.
Mm-hmm.
Republicans do it with a little bit of the religion thing. They, as far as abortion and some sexual matters.
Right.
But leftists do it with everything that's not those two things. They do it with the rest of everything else, basically.
All right.
But the reason they don't they love to control where you live, what kind of car you drive, what kind of food you eat, whether or not you smoke. They love you to smoke pot but not cigarettes or not cigars. They don't want you to be able to drive around. They want you to put you on a train, put you in a big box because it's bad for the environment to be driving around in a car anyway. But anyway,
Why should you be able to go wherever you want to go?
right? You might go somewhere where they don't want you to go. But anyway, here's why they kind of don't like free markets, and it's because they don't think the reason I like free markets, first off, is because it's the best way to get people to supply what other people need and be nice to them because you're depending on that person's patronage, giving you money for this thing that you have that they want. You're depending on them to give you money for that, and you make a profit and you get to buy your house and your car and raise your family. But you're not really providing that good or service out of the goodness of your heart. You're doing it for profit. Lefties think that's wrong. You should be supplying me, say, this food or this water or this medical care because it's the right thing to do. They don't trust that. Well, he's only doing it for profit. They don't trust that. They think that some smart people in Washington are much better equipped to decide what everybody else needs and what they should be spending their money on and things like this. Because God forbid they should have 300 million people running around with no plan.
Right.
Oh my God.
Well, one of our very poignant and intelligent commenters back in our rape episode, he argued that
was a classic.
Rape is always wrong, but sometimes people argue about the definition of rape. So while leftism may always be wrong, I'd like you to define more clearly your definition of leftism.
Oh boy, about my clear leftism. Leftists, like I said, in this country, leftism is more of a, like I said, that they don't trust free markets as well. They think things need to be managed in more of a structured way, and
like
of course,
social equality.
Yes, incomes shouldn't be too far apart. This income disparity. Did I go over this income disparity thing? I was talking
to each what they can make and to each what they need.
Yeah, is that Karl Marx? Yes, from each according to his means, to each according to his needs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And they have a very totalitarian instinct. They like I said, don't trust free markets. It's not good enough. They're very irreligious. Generally, morality comes from their heart. A lot of the times, even though there's a lot of religious Democrats, they kind of don't go to church and they really just kind of rely on their own hearts to guide them. Now, I'm not religious, so I kind of tend to do that too. But I recognize that for me, religion is wisdom passed down from thousands of years ago by people who've already lived life and they've learned a thing or two, and I'm stupid not to listen to them. That's what I think about that. So.
Or at least consider what they have to say to learn from it.
Sure. Ignore the Bible at your own peril, I say. There's lots of good advice in there. Lots of crazy stuff too, but lots of good advice in there. So, and leftists do think
that
they
was
always
Marx.
go to... It was Marx.
Yeah, that was Marx.
They always go for government first. It's like government first. Government should be doing something about this. Government should be doing something about this. Bill Clinton, government can do more. Government should do more. Bill Clinton's a lefty guy. Reagan, right winger. Government is not the solution to our problems. Government is the problem. These are the delineations. So it's basically Republicans think people should be helping people. Democrats think government should be helping people. So,
I learned a lot from our podcast because I never really knew where my political stances were. But sometimes when you break it down like that, and I go, oh, yeah, people should be helping people.
Yeah, at a more
Yeah.
local level, because
Yeah.
like, trust me, the people that my wife sees in the hospital, you would not loan them money personally. You would not give any of them money.
But the
Because
government
you know
will.
they're going to go right out and snort it or drink it and then come back for more and say, hey, buddy, that wasn't enough. And they're going to, but government sure is going to give them money. This gives me an opportunity to talk about how, like, leftism has a bit of a feminine energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right winger has more of a masculine energy. Now, men are the gas pedal, women are the brakes. You ever notice that in a relationship?
Yeah.
You're like, come on, let's have sex. You're not so fast, buddy. It's like, so it's always been especially when you're dating, it's like gas pedal. And all you get is brakes when you're dating.
Right.
But guess what? You need both to drive a car. Mm-hmm. You get into a car with all gas pedal, you're dead. Get into a car with all brakes, you're going to be in that car forever sitting there and you're going to die. You're not going to go anywhere. So you need both.
There was that one article where the guy had his right to remove his brakes from his car.
He did? I don't remember that.
Oh, you don't remember? Yeah, we talked about that a
Is that
few
from The
months
Onion
back.
or I forgot.
Yeah, it was an Onion thing.
Oh,
Anyways.
okay.
So you've got the egalitarian lefts
The left,
who want to
more
take your money
feminine energy left. And by the way,
and give it to me. They're going to take
Yeah,
your
like the-
money, Dave, and give it to me.
yeah, the government, like you were just saying, the government will give those people money because they're all forgiving,
Mm-hmm.
all love, all nurture. Here, take it. You must need it because you say you need it. So you need it. Whereas dad might be like, yeah, that's a nice tattoo you got there. What would that cost you? Why do you need $500 from me?
Right.
This is where dad comes in more. Now, women can act like that too, but they're acting kind of more in a masculine way when they do that, and men can be very nurturing, but they're acting in a more feminine way. I've got both sides. You see me with my girls. I see you with your sons. You're very nurturing with them. I'm very nurturing with them. But generally, I'm going to be more on the masculine side, and your wife's going to be more on the feminine side, probably. So
We have those exact same fights where she says, well, but they need this. And I go, no. They made their decision, and now this is the consequence, and we're done.
yeah,
And
I find
she's
it much
sitting there with the kids looking at me in horror as I have to be the
you-
one to dish out the punishment.
Yeah, do you find it? I find it easier to I don't sit and wonder, do they still love me?
No,
I don't
of
worry
course.
about that.
Of course they love you.
Yeah, but the wife is always like, are they going to still love me? She's like, you might. I'm more cut out for this doling out justice and doling out punishment and sticking to it. Even though I'm very easygoing. But
I think it's different with women and daughters because the
Mm.
daughters won't love her for some long period of their lives. There'll be some period of your daughter's lives where they absolutely hate their mother, no matter what she does, how good or bad she is, because that's just how girls grow up.
is that what Woody Allen said in, I think it was Manhattan? Yeah, his ex-wife's female lover, who she left him for another woman. She said he doesn't hang out with the kid very much, and she said, well, kids don't need a father. They just need or because they have two mothers. So two mothers is just fine. They don't really need a father. And he says, really, I always thought that people rarely survive one mother, something like that. So yeah, there's a period where the mothers really butt heads, and the kid and the daughters. But when, like getting back to the gas pedal brakes, and the feminine masculine. When you're a kid, it's like the mom has this line that she'll lay on you. Look me in the eye and tell me that you didn't blah blah blah, and you go, okay, nope, I didn't blah blah blah. You lie. The first person you learn to lie to is your mom.
Yep,
because she believes you. Because she says she'll believe you if you don't.
Yeah.
So first person, it's easy to lie to government. They're just cutting you a check, and they don't know. You say, "Yep, I look for work." Send off the thing. Get your unemployment money.
I worked briefly I was working for an employment agency before I had my full-time gig at the college. So for 6 weeks, I worked in this great office. I'm not going to mention the company now. And the manager there, who made north of $100,000, well-to-do, he had one kid, and his wife went and collected welfare.
Huh.
Now, when somebody had told her she should go in and get her benefits, get her welfare, because she doesn't make the money, he does. So she would go in, following the advice she was given, report that she didn't make any money. She had to rely on whatever her husband gave her to take care of the kid.
Did that work?
Yeah, it worked. So, they didn't have to pay for groceries because it was covered by their welfare. I don't know how long
Did you ever meet
that
her?
went
Did you
on.
say, you're welcome?
No,
what
he
I
was
doing.
making double what I was making.
No, but but still some of your tax money's going to her.
Yeah,
so you're welcome.
You know, I say the same thing to the students. When they complain about how much they pay for college, they say, no, I'm paying for your college. No, I paid for it. No, you didn't. You did not pay for your college. I paid for your college.
Those little students are going to get a cold bucket of water thrown on them. Cold bucket called life.
Well, you know, like I said, I worry about those young people today.
Luckily, all their jobs will be replaced by robots, and they'll just sit there and have the robot take care of it and like wipe their butt. And,
that's good because it's most of all what they can do anyway.
Yeah, the robot's going to be doing all the work, and but the robot won't be able to cash the check, so they have to send it to the human that's in the house. So, yeah.
Well, that's exactly why we have electronic banking.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking that. Mm-hmm. No, I wasn't. I don't know where you're going with that.
Electronic banking, man, it's the best. Well, there's one. I know it's getting late, but there's one thing I just wanted to bring up a little more. I don't know
Elliot,
anybody.
Are you done with the treadmill?
No, he's got 5 more minutes.
He's in the shower now. Let's picture Elliot in the shower at the gym. Let's not.
I need one of you fans that have the Samsung VR helmet, the virtual reality glasses. It's called the Samsung Gear VR.
And that's Samsung.
That's right.
Hung.
Well, and the reason is that's the one where they have the VR porn.
Yeah.
And that's where the money and the money shots are in virtual reality.
This has the potential to completely just destroy the entire fabric of society, this VR porn.
Wow. Well, look at it. Porn has sort of pushed technology at every level as far back as you can think. I mean, why do we have home movies today? Because of VHS tapes. Mm-hmm. Why do we have VHS tapes? Because of porn. Mm-hmm. Why do we have the internet? Because of porn.
Yeah. That's why do we have anything is because of female genitalia. Men are always trying to get it, and they want to get more of it, so they have to invent stuff to attract more women.
Yeah, you always break it down like this relationships expert that I heard on that show, All Things Being Equal.
Yeah, Mr. E.
Mr. E.
He was really interesting.
I like that guy. Well, anyways,
we should have him on again.
I can't link to anything about the Samsung VR porn because it's all not safe for work.
Oh, really?
I can't play you any clips from it.
I better start doing some Googling.
But I'm telling you,
VR.
If Lebowski, if the dude had access to Samsung VR, well, he would never have bothered to go solving problems.
VR porn.
Yeah, there's a good article.
Safe search off.
There's a good article on Fandroid with a video that you can watch that is not safe for work.
Where's that? What was that? Say that again.
There, if you Google search for Samsung VR porn.
I just did that. I was way ahead of you.
Pick up the Fandroid video.
Fandroid, okay. I won't do it here. There might be inappropriate noises on there.
No, you got to keep the sound on. But you can watch people watching VR porn.
Oh, I think I see that. That's the first one that comes up, right?
Yeah, it actually, that video sort of explains it all. Okay. So if you ever wondered about VR, you can watch shady guys smiling.
I've paused that, and I'll watch it in a minute.
We'll watch it in the after hour.
Have we delighted listeners enough, or do we have anything else to go over?
I think we've delighted listeners enough for this week. I want to have a program note. We are going to be late next week. I'm actually going to be out of town for a couple days. We'll have to do the show over the weekend. Put it out on Sunday or Monday whenever we can. So keep those tweets coming, Angie, but we'll get the show to you. I'd also like to thank this week's sponsor, Good Intentions. Good Intentions is a profiling company that matches employees with employers who share similar values.
That sounds nice.
Well, it is nice. The candidates take comprehensive psychological profiling tests, and those tests are used as aggregated big data or whatever.
What kind of questions do they ask you?
Well,
very detailed.
Have you never taken like the Myers-Briggs or your leadership color or the what color is your leadership style kind of test? There's a well, some of the counselors know, but they have a suite kind of like that. Is it match.jdate or something that you pay them and you get you take a test to find out what kind of lover you'd be good with.
Sure, yeah, eHarmony does that.
This is like the eHarmony. Well, they didn't pay for that in the read. They're going to have to run with it though. They take your comprehensive profile and they match it up with employers in a team that you're going to work well with. Good Intentions works with the employers to build balanced teams. So they say in this particular sales, they want this type of personality, and they need these type of people in reception and these type of people in IT, and they look for personalities to balance the team out. But their add-on, their bonus is that they'll also take your profile and they'll say, well, you know, Dave, you really tested high in this type of management.
How far do they take that? Like what? Who else?
Well, they're gonna.
Do they keep this data to themselves, or what?
Well, they're gonna submit your profile to other jobs that you may be interested in. So you might be applying.
What if I'm interested in the CIA? Would they send it to the CIA?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, if you have the right personality to be a CIA agent, you probably wouldn't be sitting
Would they
here
send
with
it to
me
the NSA?
right
all this
now.
information?
Well, outside of the ad read, the NSA probably has everything anyways over in Utah. But
They should, yeah.
so you can
see if-
find.
yeah, could they get Hillary Clinton's all of her information back from the Chinese? Are they good at that? Because they probably have all that stuff, even though she wiped the hard drive. Anyway, I'll get off topic, but
I'm
we'll
sure
go
the
back to good
NSA
intentions.
has all of Hillary Clinton's emails if they needed it in the X key
So
score.
good intentions.
Ed Snowden could probably get it for, yeah. So let me finish the ad read. Good intentions. Find your dream job or your perfect employees with good intentions.
I don't know.
You don't
I'm a
look so sure,
A little
Dave.
distrustful. This good intentions, because you know what the road to hell is paved with. Good intentions.
No, wait a second. They might not like that. We might have to edit that part out. Well, I mean, don't you trust Facebook? You give Facebook all your information.
No, I don't give them crap. I
Well,
don't
I
use
guess-
Facebook. I probably already gave them way too much information, but
Even by
I don't
accident.
know. I don't know.
Well, it's part of that book that I'm reading. Anyways, good intentions. Find your dream job or your perfect employee with good intentions. You can catch this show on iTunes or Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, or on your favorite podcast player. Visit the website at theindispensable.show.com, or you can send us a message on Twitter at Sable and Dave.
Don't not do it.
What?
It was a double negative. I'm just trying to.
That was a double negative, and I didn't not understand you.
Excellent.
Okay, we better get to end it with that. I'll see you later, Dave.
Bye.